Hello and welcome to my third video, Dave Racing GT. Today we'll be taking a spin around Brands Hatch. It'll be the GP circuit. The car we'll be using is the Alfa Romeo 4C. Not the quickest car in a straight line, but definitely one of the best handling cars. So let's kick it off here. We can see straight away we pull to the right and let the Ferrari through. Coming up to the first corner here, it is a sweeping right hand turn. Quite high speed traveling here. We're just going to try and hit this curb nicely. Can't turn in too late or too early in that corner or else you end up in the gravel to the left. I decided to use the 4C Alfa Romeo for a couple of reasons. First of all, while it's not the quickest, it does have excellent handling and it tends to ride the curves well on this track. Also, it is quite fuel efficient, unlike some of the other cars I was trying, like the McLaren. You actually need to do a bit of fuel saving, whereas the Alfa Romeo you can just stick it into fuel setting 1 and just drive on from there really. Also the tyre deg is quite good, comparable to the other cars anyway. So we're going to try and go for a long stint here and try and avoid pitting altogether. As you can see, we've moved up into 14th position here, making moves quickly into the right hand side. Slight contact with the Supra, take the 13th position. Brands Hatch is a very narrow circuit. As you can see, it's very easy to hit the grass there, and believe me, once you hit that grass it's very hard to recover. As we can see that there's quite a bit of contact up front. You can see the Porsche driver drives up the inside. We got a Toyota Supra with the Pepsi livery. He actually pushes the Scirocco off the grass to the right hand side. We tentatively move up his outside. Unfortunately, he has other things in mind and decides to drive us off the track. So not the greatest driver there from the Supra driver. We do recover quite quickly, however we're down to 15th, and it takes an entire lap to actually find someone else. We fast forward to the end of lap 2. We can see a different Toyota Supra driver has driven off onto the gravel there, so we take 14th position. Looking forward here, we're coming up to the final corner of lap 2, and we begin chasing down the pack once again. So started off 16th, up 2 positions. Coming up the straights here, we can see that in front of us is the Ferrari driver. And that's the Ferrari we were chasing at the beginning of the race. Coming to the first corner here, do we take it well? Slight oversteer there. That is one of the complaints about the about this car, is that it can get quite tail happy, especially when you put the setting of the brake balance to the rear. You can see I'm switching from 5 to 3 there to try and avoid the oversteer. Initially I did have it at 5 because to mitigate the front tire degradation. However, probably a safer bet sticking it to 3 if it only takes a couple of laps for that oversteer to begin. We can see that there's another Toyota Supra driver. That's actually the Pepsi driver that pushed us off, so fate has it. In front of us is another Toyota Supra, so they are crashing like flies here. We move up 2 positions now into 12th. We begin closing up on this Ferrari. I find the Ferrari is a great one lap car. Set some great times on the time trials and qualifying. However, when it comes to the race, it's not the best car. I find that its tire degradation is quite sore on the tyres. Coming up behind the Ferrari here, we're looking up the inside. Do we pull it off? Yes, we do. The Alfa Romeo 4C's handling is fantastic at those speeds. In front of us, there is a car serving a penalty, so we move up into 10th, passing that Scirocco. And we are coming up to the end of the 3rd lap. Now in 10th position, so that's up 6 positions. Just a bit on the Brands Hatch circuit, so this is going to be the GP circuit variation. It's about 3.9 kilometers in length, and yeah, it's a great track and suits these handling cars very well. As you can see, we've closed up now to what looks to be another Toyota Supra in 9th position. We've just got the fastest sector. He runs wide there, picking up a bit of dirt on those tyres. I'm feeling too confident I can take him on this technical section in the middle of the track. We can see we close up behind him here, and there is actually another Toyota Supra that's spun off to the right hand side. So we both move up 1 position. We're down in 9th position. Toyota Supra is again quicker in a straight line than us, but it doesn't appear to be particularly evident here. Coming around the sweeping right hand turn here, it's all about cornering speed, and we can see that the 4C is completely unmatched, so that Toyota Supra has to slow right down. We do make slight contact with him there in front. That is completely my fault. The brakes in this 4C are brilliant, but obviously not good enough to make up for my shortcomings. Coming around the technical right hand turn here, there's no oversteer this time, so everything's good. We have a sweeping left hand turn here. We can see we take a bit of grass as well as the curb. Slight oversteer there as well. We lose a small bit of momentum but nothing major. We keep the gap down to just a few tenths. Coming up to the final corner here, we take a bit of curb and grass, take that well, and we carry that momentum through to these straights. We're closing up behind the Toyota Supra here. I'm thinking, will I perform a diagonal? I decided to move on the inside to give him something I'm thinking about, and then move back out again to try and open the corner here. It works out nicely, and we're closing right up behind him here, and the 4C with its better brakes just allows us to sweep up the inside. He did leave that door open as well. He didn't really challenge it. I'm not sure if that Supra is now beginning to struggle on the tyres, but anyway, we move forward into 8th position. Looking forward here, we can see in 7th position is the Canadian driver in the blue and orange Porsche. I love the livery, although I feel it suits McLaren's better. We pick up the quickest sector there. The Porsche would be quite similar to the 4C, whereas it is a bit more focused on the handling as opposed to straight line speed. However, it would definitely still be quicker than us in a straight line, and we would definitely be lighter than the Porsche as well, which would probably lend the 4C to being a bit better on the tyres. Nevertheless, we can see that the Porsche does handle these corners quite well compared to the Supra, but the 4C is just unmatched as we begin closing the distance here, coming around this technical left. We hit that nicely, and we're closing this gap now down to what appears to be 7 to 8 tenths. As we round the final corner at the end of lap 5, we can see we take that corner just right, maintaining the distance with the Porsche, not allowing them to pull away here on the straights. As we cross the start-finish line to begin the start of lap 6, we come to the sweeping right-hand turn here, and we can see that the Porsche runs just a little bit wide, but that's all the impetus that the 4C needs. Thinking about moving up the inside, but decided against it. Decided to tuck in behind him and just begin putting him under a bit of pressure. And we can see how long he is able to hold out. Coming around this left-hand turn here, he's a slight bit wide, and that's all that we need to begin moving our nose up the inside. There isn't a great deal that the Porsche can do here. As long as we pin ourselves to the inside of this corner, he isn't really able to perform a cutback, and we take that position. So looking forward here, there are 6 cars in front now, all driven by Americans. We can begin closing the distance. Currently there is about a 2-second gap, however we can try and cut this down corner by corner. The yellow flag has been raised because, as we'll see in a few seconds, that a Nissan Silva has actually spun off into the grass. That Nissan Silva has the blue and white livery that is typically seen on the Nissan GTRs. Nissan Silva is an interesting choice for this track because while it has great rotation, it is quite tail happy, and I would imagine it is very sore on these tyres as well, as degradation is quite high. And coming around the final corner here, we can see the difference in the cornering speed is that Nissan Silva has to slow right up to try and get into those pits. His grip must be completely gone as we move up 2 positions into 4th, because there's another driver in the pits as well, that's Subaru. And as we fast forward a lap here, we can see coming towards the end of lap 7, there is a car in the pits. Also, we can see in front of us there is a green McLaren. So as we both pass that driver in the pits, we move up into 2nd and 3rd place respectively as we pick up the quickest lap. However, we can see that my 4C is now beginning to suffer with tyre degradation. However, I'm not too worried because I know this McLaren in front is definitely suffering more than us. As we come around the first corner here, we begin putting him under pressure. I know he's feeling the heat now. He slams on the brakes there, tries his best to take that corner but still runs wide. That's how I know that he has not much grip left, to be honest. That McLaren is a fantastic car overall, however this 4C is just better on this track, there's no way about it. As we begin to chase down this McLaren to try and take the 2nd position, I just want to take a few moments to thank the viewers of my videos so far. As you know, this is my 3rd video, and I hope to keep producing more content like this. And again, if you like what you see, please hit the bell icon, and please consider subscribing. If you don't, please leave a comment and let me know where I can improve. Apart from that, I will now leave you shortly to enjoy the rest of the video as we chase down this McLaren. I promise it is a fantastic race as we come up to the end of lap number 8. We're still putting him under pressure, but I just want to acknowledge that he is a fantastic driver. As you can see here, he pins himself to the right hand side, pushing us on the outside. Thankfully, he's a bit more respectful than that Pepsi driver on the first lap. 4C has better grip, but just doesn't have the straight line speed to sweep around fully as we both make contact there. That's really just a racing incident, as they say. So yeah, as we move towards the first corner of the 9th lap, I will leave you there and let you watch the race in peace. Again, thank you for listening, and till next time, take care.